Well, hello, friends. Welcome back to Quarantine Talk. I'm out doing another delivery mission tonight, so good opportunity to make a car video. And today I'd like to talk a bit about polish and software, because earlier today I posted a video where I implemented this effect in the GUI in Serenity where if you hover over an icon, the icon will now light up a little bit if it's possible to interact with it. So icons in item views and icons on buttons, stuff like that. And I think it turned out really nice, and I'm very happy with the effect. And it got me thinking about polish and how it's so important to regularly take the time to go and polish some part of your thing that you're working on. And I think if you've been doing software for a while, then you probably recognize this feeling when you get so stuck in the details of your project that you sort of lose touch with the outer shell of it, with the public-facing part of your project. And like a typical example is you're working on some app that has a GUI, but you've been in the innermost, low-level, back-end detail stuff, working on it for days, weeks, months maybe, and you don't remember how the GUI even works at this point. And I think it's really, really good to go and regularly sort of make yourself work on polishing some aspect of your project. And there are many reasons why this is good. And the first one is that it's really good for your perspective. It keeps your perspective of what you're working on in alignment with reality. Because if you get stuck in the details, then you can sort of lose track of, well, what is this thing anyway? Like, in my case, like if I'm just working on the JavaScript engine day in and day out, right, in Serenity, then it's almost like I can forget that the project is a whole operating system. And I have to actually take the time to boot up, do something other than work on the JavaScript engine, and mess with some other part of the system to sort of remember this perspective that, oh, right, this is a bigger thing. And I mean, obviously, I still remember that it's a bigger thing, but I think this is a good habit. And it's also good because it keeps your development hygiene up, I think. And because when you're working on the same thing over and over and over, then it's very easy to accumulate bugs in other parts and sort of neglect fixing them because you're super tunnel visioned on a specific part of your project, and you're not paying so much attention to the other parts. And Serenity is a little bit in the danger zone for that right now with me, so it's getting closer to the point where I'm going to have to say, okay, time to go and work on bugs and stability for a while. We've done that before. It was very successful in the past, so we'll see when we do that next time. But lastly, there's this other aspect also, which I think is really, really important, which is your respect for your own project. Because if you never work on the polishing of your program, then it's really, really easy to slip into this mindset of this is such a piece of shit. Because when you work on something day in and day out, and you're aware of all the little hacks and all the little fix-me's and everything, it's so easy to accumulate this idea in your mind of your product being crappy, right? And working on polish is the direct antidote to that problem. Because when you take the time to make little things better and to fill in the gaps and patch up the holes and stuff, then you're helping yourself maintain a healthy respect for what it is that you're doing. And that's something that's working really well for me, and I couldn't imagine doing it any other way. And I didn't used to think like this about software. I used to have a very different attitude about it, but it all changed for me when I worked at Apple, and I learned about all of this from my friend and hero, Darren Adler, who was the director of the Internet technology department when I was there. I don't know what he's doing now, but Darren, he would always give these pep talks to his department, which I worked in, and he would have these like, because at Apple the development year is kind of cyclical. So there's like the feature work and the performance month and the bug burn down and the preparing for WWDC and so on, and it goes in a loop over and over and over. It's an infinite loop, right? And Darren would have these little pep talks every time there was a transition between these parts of the year. And I so remember him talking about the switching from feature work to bug burn down, because it's something that a lot of people find sort of unpleasant, because they've been having fun building out the features, and now the company says, oh, everybody has to start fixing the bugs, and oh, this is so lame, and blah, blah, blah. And Darren would just gather everyone in a big auditorium somewhere and then give this speech about how, yes, now we all have to switch to working on bugs, but don't worry, because there's this amazing thing that happens when we all switch at the same time. Because if we all fix all those little things, then the software that we've been working on for the past 6 months or so, all these new features, they'll start to come together, and everything will rise up higher than it's ever been before, and we'll feel the whole thing lifting itself up. And I'm not doing it justice the way he talks about it, but it really got to me, like this way of thinking about it, that when you work on polishing something, then you're lifting it up and you're making it into something that's greater than the sum of its parts. And it's always stuck with me, and I'm really grateful for having learned about this, because now I know that there's no such thing as glamorous and unglamorous software work. It's all about perspective, right? Because I think that it's just as important to build a good feature as it is to fix bugs and polish things. And it's a very limiting lifestyle to think of one type of work as more glamorous than the other, or more important than the other. And I love polish. I think polish is fantastic, and I'm really pleased with the effect that I got in today. I think it really lifts up the user interface, and it really just adds that zest to it. And the reason that I mention Darren and Apple is because when I started at Apple and I got to see sort of how the sausage was made, I was almost depressed for a while when I realized that all of this stuff that Apple puts out is just software made by people and has tons of hacks and unfinished things and broken stuff, and you can, when you're working on it and you're just stressing so much to try to get something working by a certain deadline because we're going to give a demo to Craig or whatever, then you can start to lose respect for the quality of the thing. And that certainly happened to me. I started thinking, wow, Safari is so bad, and Mac OS is so bad, iOS, oh, don't get me started on iOS. How can it even boot? Because you're just living in that day in, day out grind of hacking on something that kind of barely works, and you just want your demo to run, please. And just to learn that skill of regularly taking a step back and observing what you're doing from above, and reminding yourself of what it is really about. That's so important and so good for you, because it, like I said, it keeps your perspective of what you're doing in alignment with reality. And yeah, and about Serenity, like I'm really stoked that there are so many people lately contributing patches, polishing things. I got a lot of great stuff from Tibor, from Hussein, and a whole bunch of stuff from various people, and I don't remember everyone who did polish. I know that a whole bunch of people did, so I'm sorry I don't remember everybody's name right now, but it's just really, really awesome to see that people are interested not just in adding their pet feature or whatever, but about polishing things that are already there and making them click better and feel better. And I really, really love that. And I know that I do build a lot of features on this channel. In part, that's because it's necessary, right? Because the system is still missing a lot of things that it needs to have to be complete. But it is also fun. I acknowledge that, but it is also fun to work on bugs and work on polish. So I really feel like this project is in such a good place. Although we may need to do a little bit of bug fixing and stability work sometime soon, because a few things are getting a little bit rickety. But, it's all cyclical. And it's going pretty okay. Anyways, that's just me babbling enthusiastically about polish for a while. I hope something was interesting in that thing. I just realized that I've been talking for 10 minutes, so thank you for listening to that. And I hope everybody's doing all right. I'm doing pretty okay myself. Got the anniversary of the first ever Serenity OS demo video coming up, so that'll be fun to make the 1 year anniversary of the first ever demo. Because if you compare where the project was a year ago to where it is right now, it is just absolutely awesome how far it's come, and I'm so stoked about it. Like, it's so cool, and I'm so glad that you're all here to share in this fabulous journey. So thanks everybody for hanging out with me on the mission tonight, and I hope your projects are going okay too, whatever they are, and I hope you're taking care of yourself and washing your hands. Yeah, when I get home, I'm gonna wash my hands. Anyways, see you all next time. Bye.